So you guys are all being recorded. Let's get on with it. Yep. So today we're talking about working with buyers, some tips and trips behind the whole thing, the whole home buying process when you're working with a buyer, and most importantly, answering your guys' questions. Okay. So let's get on with it. Let me share my screen. Can you guys see my screen? Yes, no? I need some answers on that one.
Yes.
Perfect. All right, guys. So as you guys know, especially for some of my newer guys, that working with buyers is going to be extremely worthwhile for you guys, okay? The good thing about working with buyers is the fact that a lot of times buyers, they're not as demanding as sellers are going to be. Because when you're dealing with sellers, you know what I mean, you're going to be competing with other agents that have been in the business, you know what I mean, 10, 15, 20 years that, you know what I mean, have a big leg up on you as far as listing homes. But as far as the buyer, it's a clean slate. Usually buyers are much more forgiving. It's more on a friendly basis. It's a completely free service for them. So I want you guys really to you know what I mean, rely on working with buyers as far as learning how to talk to your clients, learning how to. Hey guys, do me a favor. If everybody can mute your mic, that'd be great. Good work. Yeah, so utilize working with buyers to, you know what I mean, gather a lot of experience working with them. You know, it's gonna be totally not confrontational. They're really easy to work with. Make some money and have fun while doing it. Okay, so before we start working with buyers, talking to buyers, the first thing that we have to do is going to obviously prepare. Okay, we have to start becoming a real estate expert. At the end of the day, even though buyers might be a little bit easier, they still want to work with a person, the best person that's going to give them the results they need. Okay, so this goes from like the very beginning, from everything I always tell you guys, like prepare everything, have that solid foundation. That means doing all your trainings. That means doing your online trainings. That means having your real estate website all set up. Okay, because you want to have all that stuff set up so when you do have a buyer in front of you, and the funniest thing that happens, like, people don't realize that when they need all this stuff until it happens. And a buyer's right in front of them, but then they realize they don't have their website, their Zap website that Katie went over the other day, up and running. They didn't do any of the trainings online, the extra trainings that make them better. They haven't been studying the MLS. They don't know the inventory. And now they're just on a bad footing. And also they don't have that much confidence, but they haven't prepared, you know, in comparison to somebody that's has a fully running real estate website, looks professional, and look like they've been in the business for 3 or 4 or 5 years already. They study the MLS every morning. Okay, they know the inventory, somewhat of the inventory, or they at least know how to work the MLS. 2, they're doing their trainings. They're coming into the office. They're talking with me or to the other managers. And 4, they're doing their self-learning on their own time in the Center 21 University. Okay, a lot of you guys want to be successful, but you guys don't want to do any of the learning behind it. Okay, there's no way around that learning part. You have to knock out that learning part. Okay, and I gotta tell you guys, we don't have to do 3-4 hours in one day of online learning or learning in general. You mean 30 minutes a day, an hour a day. It starts to build up. You know what I mean? After a while, you know, maybe it's the first thing you do in the morning. Hey man, learn something new. First thing in the morning. You start getting 1 year, 2 years, 3 years in the business, and you start to realize all that stuff compounded to each other, and and you know what I mean, just gets the wheels turning. You know how to talk to clients better just because you got, you know what I mean, a couple golden nuggets throughout the years of doing these continual trainings. Also a big one, yeah, have your Facebook set up. Be posted on your Facebook. You know, one of the most very powerful things is I have a Facebook that's set up for real estate. So when somebody looks you up, and they will look you up, whether online or on social media, is to have all that stuff set up. So having a good professional Facebook that shows you're in the business, so you're active in the business, is going to be very crucial. Having your Zillow profile set up, having Realtor.com profile set up, very important. Once you guys start getting, you know what I mean, sales and into the business, we have to start working on those reviews. Reviews are super important. Okay. Start getting those reviews, and it's going to help us along down the road when after a while we don't have to sell ourselves. The reviews are going to sell us for us. So, what else I got here? Let me see. I start to ramble on after a while, so I got to check myself. Oh yeah, most importantly, one of the biggest things to preparing is have your MLS, okay? And have an E-key ready to go. All right. So as soon as you get the MLS, get your E-key right away. It's been a couple times when, you know what I mean? Somebody has the MLS, somebody's ready to show property, but they don't have the E-key. I'm like, kind of weird. All right. So overall, prepare, start becoming the real estate expert. People want to work with the real estate expert. So with that comes into reviewing the MLS every day, knowing your areas in your market, doing your trainings online, doing your trainings over here, staying active. You mean be within the realm and get the energy of everything, and having all your online profiles set up. Okay, so once you have all that set up, now it is time to start finding the buyers. Okay, obviously there's so many ways to find buyers, man. It's all over the place. I don't care which method you use. The only thing that I want you guys to do is we just need consistency, okay? That's the biggest thing. You can pick one or two of them and you just do it consistent, it's going to work. But if you pick all of them and you only do it once, like it doesn't matter, okay? You can find the best one. If you don't do it consistently, it does not matter. So I don't care which ones you pick, but it's just the consistency factor behind it. I suggest you pick 3 of them and just stick with that. Make that your bread and butter. Get really good at those 3 things, and you guys are gonna be good to go. But it's gonna be like, especially in the beginning of your guys' careers, like it's gonna be that grind period. Like be willing to work on the weekends and stuff like that. So we're gonna talk about some of them. So obviously friends and family. Like if you're from Orlando, you've been in Orlando your whole life, you went to college here, you know everybody, you're a huge fan over here too. Like, yeah, that could be a great way to start finding buyers. Let them know you're in the business, obviously. But it's I don't really like that one too much. It's kind of wishy-washy unless you really have a systemized way to really follow up with all your friends and family that are looking for real estate. Open houses. As you guys know, I'm really big on open houses because it takes the whole problem of finding buyers away from the equation. They're gonna come find you. All right. At that point, it's just your job to let them know that we're prepared. So when we do have a time to talk to them, we stick out from everybody else. And these people are directly talking, like, are in our realm of looking for real estate. Social media is great too. The great thing about social media is a very passive way to find buyers. You do one post and it reaches out to your 2,000 friends or how many friends you have on social media, and it's a great way to kind of incorporate all these other ways of finding buyers together. So social media and friends and family can kind of go together, because if you're posting regularly on social media, then your friends and family are obviously going to get it too. And they're going to know you're in the business. So when they are looking to buy a house, you're going to be the first person they think of. Okay. But with the social media thing, it's the consistency. Okay. I'm starting to get like my 2 classes mixed in, but I go more into detail about, go into details with these things, but just know all these things is going to take social media, take consistency. Facebook Marketplace, bunch of buyers and sellers there. Craigslist, networking events, community organizations, investors, paid advertisement, all a bunch of great ways to get and find buyers. Okay. Most important thing is consistency. Like going to networking events. It's not going to work if you only go one time. Okay. It's not going to work if you go 2 times. It's not going to work if you go 3 times. You got to go like 12 months. All right. Solid. You got to be somebody they actually remember you there. All right. And that's a great way to start getting your name out there. At the end of the day, it's all about getting your name out there.
To make sure press was out here watching to understand how to work it. And nobody thought it was.
Hey guys, can you guys mute your mics if you have not done so already? Also, when you're looking for buyers, you can use our company listings to help you get buyers, okay? So you see an agent that has a really nice listing that you want to advertise on your social media, start using that. Start using that content to get yourself out there. So start having materials that somebody can probably like comment back on, show interest, okay? But there's many, I'm reading it off right here. There's many places to find buyers. The key is just to pick a couple and just do it consistently. Also, yeah. You should always have in your mind when you're trying to find buyers, like, hey, how many people have I talked to today? That should always be in your mind. How many people real estate related have I talked to? Okay. And if you start getting paranoid by that, then we're on the right track. So at the end of the day, you're like, man, I didn't talk to anybody about real estate. Now we're on the right track. Okay. We always have to be conscious of how many people have I talked about real estate, either with friends or with complete strangers, because the only thing we need is that opportunity. Okay. When we start keeping our opportunities out there, something's going to stick. So very important. So once we start finding buyers, once we start doing the open house, once you start posting on social media a lot, you're going in those networking events, your community organization, you're going to church all the time, every Sunday now. You're going to eventually come up with somebody that has some interest in real estate, okay? So this is the initial conversation. Like anything, like everything, first impressions are super big. A lot of times people can instantly know if you've been in business for a while or if they have not. So that's why I'm go back to number one, preparing. So important for this moment right here, the initial conversation, okay? So like I always tell you guys, I don't care if it's your mom or a complete stranger, the initial conversation should always figure out our 4 main points, which is it's just going to be the location, their current location, time frame, motivation, and then the easy part is their criteria, what they're actually looking for. So like I always tell you guys, like obviously we want to keep the conversation normal, like we're not robots, okay? Fluid conversation, but eventually, you know what I mean? When the conversation's over, I want to have most of the time all this stuff kind of figured out, okay? So say for instance, you know what I mean? This is a great example. A lot of times you guys are gonna run across this. Is your initial conversation with, say, a friend. You guys are out at church, or you mean maybe out on Sunday brunch or whatever you guys are doing, and your girlfriend's like, hey, I'm thinking about buying a house. Hey, I want to buy a house. Like immediately I started thinking, initial conversation, I need to figure out my 4 main points. Okay. So I looked at it, like, oh, that's awesome. That's great. Or obviously like figure out what conversation you guys were on, but eventually I want to get into, if I don't already know it, their current location. Where are you guys living at right now? Aren't you living in that apartment over there, that apartment complex over there in Lake Nona? Okay, I want to figure out what's their current living situation. That way it gives a lot of information on you know what I mean, why they need to move, to why they're going to a certain area. So the location of where they're currently living at is going to tell us a lot. If they're in an apartment, obviously they're renting, so that's a big factor. Okay, so once I figure out their location, their current location, I want to start digging into a time frame. All right, so the great thing about the location is it starts digging into trying to figure out their time frame. A good, easy way to figure out people's time frames are obviously you got to figure out their current living situation. a lot of times they are going to be renting. All right. If they own a house, then all right, cool. That's a good opportunity to list the property. But like 80% of the time, they're going to be renting an apartment or a house. So we're going to time frame. It goes right with each other. Hey, where you guys currently? You're living in that apartment complex in Lake Nona, right? Oh yeah, over there. Yeah, over there, living over there. I'm getting sick of it. All right, cool. When's your lease up? That's a great way to figure out their time frame. Hey, when's your lease up? Or you know what I mean, wherever you want to say it, but essentially, like when do you have to get out that lease? I just re-upped on my lease a month ago, so in 11 months. So automatically, like that time frame doesn't coincide with that conversation you guys were talking about. Okay, so it's a great conversation for friends, because they're gonna come to you. Oh yeah, I'm thinking about buying a house. All right, cool, man. Where are you guys living at right now? I'm in this apartment complex. When's your lease up? Oh, in 12 months. All right. So he wants to buy a house 12 months from now. All right. And the same thing happens with, hey, when's your lease up? Oh, in about 3 or 4 months. Perfect. All right. That's somebody we definitely work with. That's somebody we definitely help like right now. So back to, so once you figure out the time frame, I want to figure out why exactly are they moving. Okay. So I also like to say that, all right, why are you guys thinking of moving? Unless I know already, or they're kind of already hinted through it. I want to figure out their motivation. Easy question is, why are you guys looking to move? Or tell me about your situation. I'm looking for big key pain points, okay? Whether it's family related. Hey, I need to move because I have 2 kids. I have a kid already in the apartment. I have another kid on the way. We can't be living in a 2-bedroom apartment. Financial reasons. Hey, you know what I mean? I just got a raise in my job. I'm liking Orlando. I have a girlfriend or a fiance. We're time to settle down. Work related. Hey, I'm tired of commuting an hour away from work. I'm trying to get closer. And a lot of times it's going to be a combination of all those things. So a lot of times you're going to see many times that, hey, I have a fiance, we have a kid, and we have another kid on the way. So I need to get out this 2-bedroom apartment. Plus, you know what I mean? I'm sick of paying rent every month. So you're going to get that one a lot. So, and that's a really good motivator. Okay. Family and money. It's a really good motivator. So if this guy has a move for family reasons, he's going to move. Okay. You just gotta make sure it's with you. All right. And then the easy part is the criteria. What are they actually looking for? Okay. So, you mean, why are you looking to move? Oh, you know what I mean? I got the kid on the way, and I gotta get out of my mom's house. All right, that's a really good reason. You know what areas have you been looking at? You know what location? You know what you looking for? A condo, a single bedroom? You know what I mean? A single family home? How many bedrooms? You know what price range? We want to start asking all those questions. That's, you know what I mean? Obviously, we can build off of that. This is really the easy part. This is the thing you guys usually get right every time. But the most important part is going to be location, time frame, and motivation. Okay. I don't really care what their criteria is if they don't fit any of these needs. You know what I mean? If this guy's just a time waster, you know, he has no real motivation, I don't really care what his criteria is. All right. If his time frame is, oh no, I just filed for bankruptcy, I can't buy for 24 months. You know, and I don't really care what his criteria is. Okay. Let me look at any questions. Let me see what we got on here. I think we look good. All right, cool. All right. So once you guys figure out their, you know what I mean, location, motivation criteria, once that's like been confirmed and we're good to go, now we know we have a good lead. Now we know we can get to work. Okay. And then start showing them properties. A lot of times, sometimes their time frames right now, like you get somebody that's on the floor that you're on floor and they're calling to look at a house, and we kind of qualify them by asking those questions real quick. They're like, yeah, I gotta move like 2 months. Like, use that opportunity to start showing properties right now. Yeah, move now. Okay, guys, let's mute your mic. Whoever's eating. Ooh. Use that if somebody's calling, they're hot right now, and they qualified as far as our 4 main points. Let's get into showing them properties right now. They're calling to see properties, okay? When their time frames right now, we want to get them in the house right now. But obviously before then, make sure we explain what the pre-approval is, and we need that before we can show a house most of the time, okay? If the guy's right now, we don't know him at all. You may explain him at least get that process going. Explain to him the importance of the pre-approval. Hey man, even if we did I show you the house right now and you did love it, we couldn't even put an offer because we don't have the pre-approval. Okay, or at least start nudging him in that way. At least get on the phone with your lender, and also you guys need to start getting better at pre-qualifying people even before you even meet them. Okay, so I'm gonna backtrack a little bit again. So this goes back to, like, you know what I mean, all these questions that we've asked before. You know what I mean, a lot of times these questions might lead into something that could help us qualify them. You know, say, hey, I'm moving to Hunters Creek from East Orlando because of work. All right, that's an easy follow-up question is, hey man, what do you do for work? So I want to identify what this guy does, see if he has money. Okay, I work at Disney. All right, cool. What do you do at Disney? I'm an accountant. All right, cool. I could definitely help you then. You know, we gotta start getting good at that stuff. Mini qualifiers. And if somebody gives me a good vibe on the phone, you know what I mean, after my mini qualifiers, a lot of times I'm gonna go over there and show them the property one time and talk about the pre-approval letter in person. Okay, so I don't scare them off. Remember, when you're working with buyers, the ones that you have not met with before, the most important thing is to get in front of them, be it face to face. Okay. It is, so when you get face to face with them, one, like statistically, it's like you're like 80% chance of being their realtor. Two, you go away from being somebody just on the phone, some random person on the phone, to somebody that's real. Hey, Javier Stan, he works for Cedric Jerome, and he actually showed me that house. Really cool guy. Okay. So yeah, so think about it like dating. Okay, like online dating. If you ever done it, it doesn't mean anything until you guys actually get there in person. All right, so think about that. So the time frames right now, let me just jump back into what we were talking about. The time frames right now, you know what I mean, obviously start trying to show them houses, start getting them pre-approved, but then also ask them, hey man, have you seen any houses that you've liked? Or have you seen any other houses that you liked? In this day and age, like with the internet, it makes our job so much easier because these guys a lot of times have a whole list of properties that they want to see already. Makes your job a lot easier. And a lot of times they're pretty well informed, you know? So definitely ask them that so we don't have to start looking around for no reason, okay? They already know what they want. They probably have 3 or 4 of them they want. Cool. A lot of the times when you're meeting buyers, they're not going to be ready right now. Somebody comes in an open house. Most of the time, they're not ready right now. You know, there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 12 months away, okay? So that follow-up process is super important when you're working with buyers. Very, 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 very important. And remember, the goal for the follow-up and all this stuff is to get a face-to-face with these people, okay? That's why we're not following up just to say hey every 2 weeks. We're following up because we want to meet this person again. All right, we want that second date essentially, okay? So after the second date, then there's the third date, and then there's the fourth date, and then there's marriage. That's what we want, okay? So these are some of my rules that I do for following up. If they're 2 or 3 months out from their time frame, I want to be actively looking for them. Okay, I want to be actively setting up showings, trying to set them up with a property. I want to be actively like engaging them, trying to get face to face with them again. Okay, so the guy's like, yeah, man, I'm looking for a house. My lease ends in 4 months. All right, perfect. You know, I know he's probably gonna be starting that home buying process, you know what I mean, in the next 2 months. So I'm gonna be on him. So I'm gonna follow with him weekly. I'm gonna check the MLS. Like I always tell you guys, like when we're following up, we're always going to follow up with value. So easy way to start following up people with value is actively check the MLS for them on the hot sheet and look for properties on there that they actually might legitimately like from your previous conversations. So it's a really good way to get them engaged by just saying, hey man, I just sent you a really good property. I just sent you a really good property to your email address. Let me know when you get it. Let me know what you think about it. It shows them that you just don't have them in an auto email, which I suggest you guys all do. But on top of that, you are actively like putting eyes on properties to the ones that he actually might like. It's a great way to open up the conversation again. So if they're 4 or 5 months out, you know what I mean? Every 2 weeks or so, trying to set up some type of showings, maybe a face-to-face or something like that. A buyer's consultation. If they're 4 or 5 months out, I mean, we don't want to be those annoying realtors, okay? They're just like, hey. We always want to be cool, calm, and collected. You know what I mean? Like we get business all the time, okay? There's nothing people hate more than needy realtors, okay? So let's not be that one. Just be a realtor that takes care of their clients, but not needy. If they're 6 to 12 months out, you know what I mean? I'll follow up with them every 4 weeks or so. Okay. I'll definitely have them on a property alert every week, but I'm actually like, you know what I mean, sending out a text message or trying to set something up, at least once a month or something. Doesn't have, when it's that far out, we just want to buy mind share. We just want to stay in front of them. So when they do start thinking about it again, at least they'll hopefully text us, or at least give us a shot. Okay. So back to how to follow up. I just go back to actively find properties that have just been listed and send it to their email and let them know I just did that. Okay. So a lot of times there's gonna be people not in this. Most people are gonna be right here again. Okay. The 4 to 5 months, 6 months, 12 months. So with that time frame, these people, it's gonna be kind of pointless to start showing them properties super fast, like all day, right in those time frames, especially when you guys get busy. Maybe you guys are slow right now. It might, just to get face to face and start building up a comfort level. But when you guys start getting busy, you guys start guarding your time pretty well. So it's pointless to start showing properties from, you know what I mean, they're 5 to 12 months out, but I still want to get face to face with them. Okay. But I still want to get face to face with them, but I don't want to show them a bunch of houses. So a great way to get face to face with them is to do a buyer's consultation, okay? Which is pretty much going over market condition, your strategy on how to find them the dream house, going over the as-is contract, going over the strategy on getting your offers actually accepted, going over the whole sales process, maybe your loyalty agreement if you have one, any questions, and then getting them pre-qualified. Obviously, this seems like a lot, but it could be done literally like 10 minutes, okay? And you can also combine this with a showing. So when you're doing these buyer's consultations, you know what I mean, this guy's 7 months out, okay? But you want to meet him. You can start, we want to do a buyer's consultation, but we got to kind of either propped up our value or kind of link it with a scheduled showing or something like that, okay? So if you want to link or do a combination of all three, really. So if somebody comes to me and it's like, hey man, I'm looking to buy in 6 months or something like that. Cool, man. I'm gonna immediately get into some of these things that we're gonna go over in our buyer's consultation. So I immediately go over, hey man, do you know about the current conditions in current real estate conditions or market conditions in Hunters Creek? Do you know what things are actually going on over there? A lot of times they're like, oh, no, hey, have you ever bought a house before? If they're a first-time home buyer. But, oh, no. All right, cool, not a problem. Let me ask them, do you know how the whole home buying process works? Oh, no. Like, so essentially what we're doing is we're letting them know that it's a lot more of a complicated transaction than what you think. Okay, a lot of times you're gonna be like, hey, do you know about what the whole home buying process is about? Oh, I've done some research about it. Cool. Has anybody explained to you about the whole inspection process and how that works and how essentially it might be a free look period, but we can negotiate repairs or get some concessions? You start hitting them with that, they'll be like, oh no, I didn't know anything. Once you get them to accept something that is true, you immediately, dude, you know what I love to do? I love to show you. I love to go over the whole thing with you, the whole home buying process, and go over my whole buyer's consultation. At the same time, if you want to link it with showing a property, hey man, at the same time that property you inquired on, we can see that property first, but then afterwards I want to talk to you about my whole service essentially. Okay, I don't like saying buyer consultation, but I think it's just overly used. I like to say something else like, hey, my buyer's guide or my buyer service. Okay. So essentially, and the great thing about that is we link it with the property showing. We kind of built up our value, and then we're going to do it. Because if we just go for straight, hey man, I'm going to give you, come into my office. Let me give you my buyer's consultation. It's to somebody that we never met before. Like 95%, they're going to flake out on you because nobody wants to come to an office to meet with some total stranger, talking a salesman at that, to talk about buyer's consultation that he doesn't even know what the hell that is. Okay, so remember, when you ever want somebody to do something, you got to build up little micro, value propositions. You get the value of coming in here to see you outweighs the annoyance of having to drive and fight traffic. Always remember that. But if you could prop that with, hey, I'm gonna show you this house, value, and is to make it outweigh the pros and cons so much, it definitely gets their success rate goes up so much more. And then when we do a buyer's consultation, one, we get our face-to-face of which we want. Two, we look so much more professional because no other agent has the confidence to do that. A lot of the other agents don't have the confidence to do that. Three, they remember us. We sat down with them either at the house or at the office for 20 minutes, going over the whole home buying process, seeing what they're actually looking for, demonstrating how professional we are. I don't know. I can't think of the other ones, but some other good stuff in there too. So definitely get face-to-face with them. Get buyer's consultation if they're farther out. Overall, get face-to-face with them. So once you do that, once you met them before, once you've either got face-to-face with, once you qualified them, and you think they're at that point to actually start showing them houses, this is when the work actually really begins. Okay, this is when it actually starts going down. So obviously, first things first is ask them if they've seen any houses they want to see. Okay, they probably have a list ready to go. By this point, you should probably know their lending situation. Do not show a bunch of homes if you don't have a pre-qualification. Do not show them a bunch of homes if they don't have a pre-qualification at all or are not gonna get pre-qualified. Okay, if I'm showing 4 homes, this dude has a pre-qualification letter and he's gonna buy with me 100%. Oh yeah, also, like, when you guys start showing people properties, like, let them know, reiterate, like, hey man, you're gonna buy the property with me. Like, keep doing little micros in there. Just let them know, like, hey man, like, you seeing other realtors is not cool. Okay. So start preparing for showing houses. If they don't have a list already, they may have 1 or 2 houses. Use that 1 or 2 houses they give you, and then start looking at what's around there through their criteria that are already established. And gather up 10 houses, send it to them, see which ones they like, and try to narrow it down. I don't really ever want to show more than 4 or 5 houses. Preferably, don't really want to show more than 4. Preferably, I only want to show 1. But sometimes you gotta play the show. So let me double check where I'm at on this thing. Yeah, so you may gather up a list from MLS of houses they actually might like. Okay, do not just like, oh, this is in the price range. Click, and send them a bunch of crap. Legitimately look through the pictures, see which ones are actually really cool and unique, or which ones they actually might like. Do not send them 20 houses. Do not send them 40 houses. Do not send them 50 houses. Okay, because they could just easily go to Zillow and do the exact same thing. We're here to simplify the process for them and to make it as easy as possible. If they just had to go back to Zillow, You know what I mean? They wouldn't be using a realtor. So once you guys figure out the houses you guys want to see, go on the MLS, start scheduling them yourself. If you guys do not know how to schedule showing houses on the MLS, like super easy. Just when you're on that front page, go to the showing time button, click the day and time you want to go to, see the house, and voila, it's that easy. The day and age of you having to call the listing agent and ask them, hey man, can I shoot this house, is pretty much done, unless it specifies that on the MLS. Okay. So everybody, today I want you guys to make sure your showing time app is set up. Download the app on your phone as well. Make sure you have your e-key, big one. When you are scheduling these houses, make sure you guys utilize the best route. Make sure you guys give yourselves enough time to actually drive to the house, get to the house, see the house, leave the house, drive on to the next one. Okay. So give yourself, like, you see one house, give yourself 45-minute gap between each house, or maybe 30 minutes depending, or 15 depending on how far the other house is. You utilize the best route. You don't want to go double back a bunch of times, okay? That'll make you look extremely like you don't know the neighborhood at all. And once you get all your showings confirmed, confirm with your client and be the leader on which house you guys are going to meet at first, okay? Think about it, like, you're the professional here. You lead them. Hey, meet me at 123 Main Street at 9 o'clock. I have it all set up for us. Then we're gonna see our 4 of the houses after that. Okay. Obviously, they get the time of which works with them, but you know what I mean. Start taking the lead on things. All right. So you're about to start showing houses. So prepare to start showing the houses. You want to be a wealth of information on all these houses we're about to show. Okay. So that means, like, pulling up your houses, read through the description, maybe look at the attachments, see if there are any cool features on the house. We want to be a wealth of information, okay? And so it's funny. We read the description, we'll get a lot more information, but a lot of times we just go in there blind, and then the client starts asking us a bunch of easy questions that we're like, I don't know. I could definitely find out. You say that enough times, your client's going to stop asking you questions because they're going to realize, oh, this person doesn't know anything. Okay. So do yourselves a favor before you actually go out there, read the description, read everything on the property, because it's going to make you look so much better in case they do ask, which they will ask a bunch of crazy questions that you would think they already know. Okay. So make sure you do that. All the houses that you're going to show. So this is what I do. I wouldn't go to the office just to print out all these MLS sheets to give it to my buyer and have to myself. I would just simply, on the MLS, email myself and my client all the properties we're going to go see, okay? So that way they have it on their phone, both their phones. If it's a husband and wife, make sure you email it to both of them. And that way, when they're driving there, they can look at the next house, know the address, and know everything. And you're not wasting paper. And it looks sleek. You're not fumbling around with a bunch of papers all over the place. So before you actually go to show the houses, make sure you send yourself and your client the MLS, the whole MLS sheet, okay? From the MLS website in the portal. Make sure you have your phone fully charged, okay? Phones, or have a charger somewhere, because if you guys don't have access to GPS, you guys are screwed. If you guys can't open up the doors because your e-key app is in your phone and it's uncharged, you're screwed, okay? Make sure you have something to charge your phone and your phone's up and running. I've been caught on that too many times. Start showings on time. Don't ever keep your clients and sellers waiting, okay? So remember, like, you're seeing 4 houses in a row, it has to be a kind of seamless process, because if you take too long on one house, it's going to backlog the other one, okay? And it's just going to be a compounding effect. And then obviously, you know what I mean, when you're showing houses, it's not like a 4 and done, okay? Obviously, this whole process could continue until, I'm going to write it down right here, actually. Like a spell. Continue until client finds the house they like, and then put an offer. So you're gonna continue this whole process until you find your client the house, and you guys put in an offer. Okay. So when it's time to put in an offer, we do all of our offers on .loop. Okay, like I go over on the .loop class. This is where we get in the .loop and start writing up our offer. Before we write an offer, though, we have to pull the comps of the area so we could make a good offer on the property, whether it's a low offer, high offer, or at the asking price. Okay. And it shows your clients that, you know what I mean, there's some work behind everything. You're not just throwing out offers just to throw it, okay? So a great way to transition from, you know what I mean, hey, I found the house. Oh, man, I really like this house, man. Like, when people start saying, hey, I really like this house, they're pretty much, like, subtly telling you, like, they don't want to, I don't know, it's weird. They're pretty much telling you, hey, I want to put an offer, okay? Yeah, that house is really nice. And there's, like, and you just kind of pause. That's like a cue for you guys to jump in, like, hey, you know what I can do, man? This is a really good house. You know, let's put an offer, man. When we start framing it that way, hey, man, let's put an offer. He's like, yeah, you know, we should. Immediately when he kind of agrees, I immediately go to, tell you what, I'm gonna go back to my office. I'm gonna run some numbers, and now I'll let you know what will be a good offer. That's like such an important phrase I always say. I'm gonna go back to my office, whether it's your house or you come back over here and you got right up with one of the managers. I'm gonna run the numbers because we have to run the comps, and I'll let you know what I come up with, okay? Or I'll let you know what I think would be a good offer. And then simply we go back to the office. We'll pull all the comps together. We'll figure out the true value of the property, okay? So if it's listed at $200,000 and it's worth, you mean $195? All right, we'll base that $195 or $200,000 as our target, and we'll start the negotiation from there. But essentially, once you figure out the true value of the property, you want to let your client know what you think they should offer. Okay. So if the property is at $200,000, you kind of figure, you know what I mean, give or take, you know what I mean, I probably think the property is worth $195. Okay. Bear in mind, we're not complete pricing experts. Remember that. So you want to let your client know, like, hey, man, this is what I think we should do. I think we should put an offer for $192 and having the sellers pay $5,000 in closing costs. What do you think about that? You literally suggest the price and the closing cost amount if needed, and let them just think about it. Hey, what do you think? And make kind of like an open conversation. What do you think about that? This way, it shows like, hey, man, I know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna lead you through this. It's weird. You're not the real estate professional I am. So let me figure all this stuff out for you. That's what you're paying me, or essentially paying me to do. Okay. A lot of times when you start suggesting things on that level, they will be like, yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, definitely. Okay. So remember, you suggest to your client what the offer should be. Don't just sit back like, so what do you think? No. Okay. They're going to immediately know, like, man, like this person's just a glorified door opener. No, man, they want somebody that's gonna, hey, man, hey, I think the house is probably worth $195. It could be worth $200,000, but from what I'm seeing, everything I've pulled, it's worth $195. So this is what I think we should do, man. We should aim for $195, but let's put in an offer at $192 with sellers paying $5,000 in closing costs, and then we'll probably end up at $195 when they counter us. Sound good? He'd be like, yeah, probably. Yeah. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Exactly. Let's put in the offer. And then we start writing up the offer. Make sure we, let me read this stuff. Yeah, all that stuff, all the .loop stuff. All right. You guys know about .loop. You guys have been on my class. Let me check the chat room. What do we got? Any questions so far? Let me see. I've been talking too much. You guys got to stop me real quick. All right. Hi, can you explain the hot sheet? Anna, so on the hot sheet is the MLS, and I think it's called Market Snapshot over here. It's literally lists all the new listings that pop up within the 24, 1 day, 3 day, or 7 day period. Okay, you could filter that out. It comes up, it shows you all the sold properties, all the price with decreased properties. Okay, you guys want to start checking that every day, especially when you're actively working with someone, because I guess Katie already answered the question. Anyway, yeah, start checking that every day, because one, we have to start knowing what's going on in the market. It's a great way to start figuring out what the hell is going on. Two, it's a great way to follow up. Use that as kind of like ammo to follow up with people on. But I'll show you a little bit after this class. Let's see what we got. How can we get the handout for this class? Javier, please email me. Yep. Do we have this buyer consultation in Spanish? No. I am. I'm working on a document to give you guys a buyer consultation outline, and you could self-translate it to Spanish. So when I say buyer's consultation, it's not like some preset thing like we're robots. Okay, it's maybe you got a buyer's guide that you create yourself, and it's just a nice flowing conversation. Okay, it's not like 1, 2, 3. Okay. Cool. All right, let's get on. Let's get back to it. All right. So once we so when you put in the offers, you negotiate back and forth till you get the house officially under contract. The seller accepts it, the buyer accepts it. We are good to go. Okay. Now we're just like, all right, we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. We just got in the tunnel. Actually, let me rephrase that one. We just got in. All right. So now the property's under contract. Now what you have to do is one, start figuring out how you're gonna get your client's deposit check to the title company, whether it's a wire, whether it's a money order. Coordinate with the title company, coordinate with the listing agent, get them the money as soon as possible. Okay, to solidify that that contract. Okay, and then also you want immediately let your lender know that you got an accepted contract. That way your lender can start getting a head start on what he needs to do for all the paperwork, all the stuff he has to do as far as with his client and the bank. Okay. And then also schedule the inspection immediately. Okay. Like got under contract, you let your client know, hey, send your $3,000 deposit check to this title company. Call them, make sure if they want a wire or a money order or whatever, certified check. Then immediately call the lender or email them. Hey, just got my whatever client accepted contract. I'm gonna email you the purchase agreement. It's in your email box. And then immediately afterwards, call the inspection company that you guys use. I use this guy. What's his name? Who are these guys? Hold on. I'm not sure if you guys see my thing, but Max Home Inspections. They're really quick. That's what I like about them. So you want to schedule these inspectors pretty fast, because if you're not going with a big company, sometimes these inspectors can take a long time just to get out to the property. And remember, when we're writing these offers, we have 7, 10, or rarely 14 days for an inspection. So if it takes the inspector 4 or 3 days just to get out there, and then another 2 days just to get the report back, we're already on day 5 of a 7-day inspection period. Like, hopefully we don't have to bring anybody else out there because we're not having too much time. So immediately schedule the inspector. Okay. Once that's done, then we go into the most dreadful part. We're inside the tunnel at this point, inspecting the property. So this is like the make it or break it time for most of these properties. You're coming in there all happy and good to go. You get the property inspected. You realize it's infested with termites or something like that, and the deal's dead. Okay, but usually, if you get past the inspection period, then we are good to go. Okay, so during the inspection, it's usually gonna take about 2 or 4 hours, depending on how big the house is. Which I highly encourage your client to actually be at that property in the inspection for the whole 2 hours or 3 hours, 4 hours. This way, it will give them a chance to, like, you know what I mean, hang out the house, you know what I mean, plan stuff at the house, maybe like measure some rooms and stuff like that. They're really looking at the house for a good 4 hours, okay? And that way they're with the inspector too that can explain what's going on with the house in a good way. It doesn't freak them out. So once the inspection's done, the inspector's gonna go over to the buyer and kind of give him a walkthrough on what he kind of saw, explain it. If you have a good inspector, he explains it in a non-scary way. Once the inspection is done, the inspector will send you the inspection report, okay? Oh yeah, I suggest you guys be at the inspection as well. But the inspector will send you the inspection report, and your client, I want both of you guys to read the inspection report, start making notes on anything that you think needs to be fixed, and tell your buyer the same thing. Once you guys are done, you know what I mean, looking at it, you guys get back together. Hey man, did you get a chance to look at the inspection report? Yeah. Hey, I found that the AC system needs a servicing. The electrical has a double input, whatever it is, and there's a slight leak in the roof. I think we should definitely ask for that to be repaired. What do you think, or what did you find? Okay, going back to putting the offers, like we want to lead them. Okay, hey, I think we should do this. What do you think? He's like, yeah. I saw that too. I definitely saw it too. But then also, I want to make sure, you know what I mean, that electrical switch on that one room wasn't working. I want them to fix that too. All right. So this goes back. So now we come into this. Will happen a lot. Your buyers will start getting freaked out on what they saw in the inspection period. So this is when you come into play. And we got to kind of like get them back online, okay? So tell them, hey man, honestly, I wouldn't really worry about that too much most of the time, okay? Unless it's a crazy big issue. Tell them, hey man, I think we should really focus on the big issues here, the big deal breakers here, okay? Roof, AC, electrical, the big issues that are going to be a huge headache down the line, okay? Outlet that doesn't work, you know what I mean, in this competitive market, it's not worth haggling over that, okay? So let them know. We want to be the leader, but also get their input, okay? Obviously if it's a fight, if it's somebody, you know what I mean, obviously every situation is different, but you want to make sure your client is not going overboard with everything. That's a great way to get deals destroyed, okay? A perfectly fine house, the realtor lets his client freaking go ballistic. I should probably write that in there. Don't ever let your client go ballistic, whether in putting in offers or inspection periods, okay? You have to be the guiding hand to keep them on the road to closing, okay? Let me read what I put on here. Okay. So once you guys get the inspection report back, you guys will, I gotta start speeding up. Once you get the inspection report back, you mean figure out what you guys want fixed, and then obviously use the addendum to either negotiate the repairs being done, credits, or lowering the price, okay, or a combination of all three. So generally, if it's electrical, roof, and AC servicing, you could write in the addendum, seller to have what blank items, or I actually like to list them individually with individual tasks, so it doesn't get all confusing. But actually, that's something we could address later on, how to actually negotiate an inspection period. But I want you guys to realize right now that you can negotiate the price, credits, or just have the seller just fix it, okay? And then once everybody comes in agreement, good stuff, we're on to the next thing. Make sure if you guys have to bring out an additional contractor, like an AC guy, a plumber, somebody, make sure all this stuff is done, all the negotiating is done before the inspection period is over with, okay? So once you get past the inspection period, it's looking pretty good most of the time. We are seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. We're in there, but we see the end in mind. So number 11, downtime for financing and appraisal. So at this time, we're just kind of just sitting back, preferably working other deals, meeting with other clients. This is when we're just kind of sitting back with our client. We're kind of on to our next client by then. But our main focus is maintaining the whole transaction. We're kind of managing the whole transaction. So that means we're keeping in contact with the lender, making sure that your buyer is good to go. The buyer is cooperating. Same thing with, we want to keep in touch with the buyer to make sure everybody's treating them well. So we're like, hey, Mr. Buyer guy, is my lender Nathan? Is he treating you okay? Is everything good to go? And I was like, yeah, he's perfect, awesome, cool. Just want to make sure we're good to go. You need anything from me? No, cool, man. Let me know if you need anything. But we're doing this on a weekly basis. We're making sure everything is good to go. During this time, they're going to schedule the appraisal, which is like the next little bump in the road, maybe. Okay, which is appraiser goes out there, he appraises the property, make sure it's worth what we're looking to buy it for. I should probably remove this because lately has not been true, but whatever. So what was I about to say? Yeah, so appraisal, make sure it gets appraised. Once it's done appraising, we're just getting the final paperwork from the lender. The client is giving the lender all the paperwork, pay stubs, whatever they need to put together to get the clear of close. Yeah, so week of closing, okay? Once we get past the appraisal, once we get past most of the financing stuff, we got a week left. Now we see the finish line. There's the light. At this point, we want to get with everybody, get with the title company, get with the lender, get with your client to make sure everything is still good to go for that closing date. Okay, if you're doing the number 11 the right way, you should have all this stuff ready to go. You should know everything's on the same timeline, or if there's any delays, you're already adjusted for it. But the week of closing, make sure all parties are good to go. Nothing that's crazy popped up. And at this point, we want to start making sure with the listing agent that all the repairs that we might have asked for are done pretty much. Okay, either done or like this close to being done, with receipts and invoices and stuff like that. Okay, so yeah, hey man, hey, just checking on that roof leak. What's the status on it? Oh, got it done. Perfect. Can you send that invoice for my records? Cool. And I send it to you. Make sure you keep all those invoices. Super important. Also, make sure all your paperwork is in order. Okay, so this is a time like we want to start organizing our dot loop. Because after a while you start seeing how confusing that dot loop gets when it has all these freaking documents. So we want to start. So this is when we start organizing everything. Because when a couple of days before the closing, and the title company asks you, "Hey, do you have this piece of paperwork?" And you're like, "No, I don't even know what that is." We're gonna start looking stupid. Okay, so make sure we start having all of our paperwork in order. And if we need any additional things signed, make sure we start working on that now. Day of closing, like it's a good day, like hell yeah, making sure like fingers crossed, like sweating, make sure nothing happens like bizarre, like a coronavirus or something happens out of nowhere. But usually it's a good day. That day you want to do you and the buyer should meet at the property, do a final walkthrough to make sure that all the repairs that you guys requested have actually been done. You're putting eyeballs on those repairs, and to make sure like the house isn't like burned down or something. Let me see what else I got on here. Yeah, make sure there's no move out damage. Make sure like the house is like what it is. Okay, they weren't hiding anything. They didn't steal any like chandeliers that you wanted. Stuff like that. Closing time, which is you're pretty much there. You're at the tunnel. You're just parking the train at this point. Closing time. So when you're at a closing table, it's pretty easy. Your whole job pretty much is to create small talk while they're signing paperwork. Okay. Some of my favorite small talk topics would be, hey, when are you guys moving? When do you guys plan on doing? What's the first meal you guys are gonna make? Random small talk to get this thing going, okay? Until they start signing, really. The closings probably take 30 minutes. It's really cool. Everybody's really happy most of the time. It's a really fun time to be talking to everybody. You get to meet the sellers for the first time, meet the other agent. It's a good time. But the most important thing is, second most important thing is make sure you bring your paperwork, whether it's in a laptop in your dot loop in case they need anything. If you need any final document signed, like a key statement or anything else you forgot, like this is your time to like print it out at that closing company and get them to sign right then and there, because good luck trying to get other paperwork after the closing table. Okay. So any paperwork that we need, get it zipped up right here and there. And make sure you bring your laptop with all your dot loop documents, just in case you need it. If you've done everything correctly, 95% of the chance you won't need anything. You just be sitting there, smiling, looking pretty, talking. Okay. But most important thing at the closing table, make sure you bring a closing gift. Very important. Because last thing you want to do is to have the other realtor bring a closing gift and you're empty-handed. You're going to look really, really dumb, okay? Don't be that person. Be the person with the gift and make the other realtor look bad, all right? But other than that, man, you collect your check and get paid and celebrate and have a good time. Any questions? That's it. Can closings be done online? Yeah, now I guess nowadays they can be done online. I'm hearing they're doing the virtual notary or something like that. In case they were purchasing, will there be an inspection? Well, yeah, so let me backtrack. So depending on what kind of offer you guys are putting in, if it's the guy's just like flipping the house, he doesn't really care what's on the inspection anyway. Like, no, inspections aren't required at all. For normal clients, yeah, get an inspection. If it's a home flipper and the house is like trashed anyway, yeah, probably irrelevant. Any other questions? I think we're good to go then, guys. Everybody's good. Hold on. Yeah. All right, guys. See you guys later.
Thank you.